All right, Nick, this is video number 2 I told you I was going to send you. I didn't want to send it to you prior to the event you just played because nothing good comes out of that. Any event, this is going to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more mechanically involved. Basically, Nick, when I help students, all I'm trying to do is improve their impact position. That's all I try to do. What happens before, what happens after impact is almost inconsequential unless it's affecting impact. But these guys you watch on TV all have a lot of different moves. More so when I was a kid. I mean, there was not one swing similar to the other, but now they're getting a little bit more similar, but still, they have their own moves. But one thing they have in common is impact. They all have commonalities at impact. They use their core, they rotate open, they got a lot more weight on their lead foot than their trail foot. Shoulders are open through impact, hips are open, hands coming through passive. Even guys like Matt Wolf, that's got to be the craziest swing we've seen since Jim Furyk was younger. And when we put him into impact position, his impact position is unbelievably good. How he gets there is a different story, but it really doesn't matter how you get there as long as you're there. So I spend 99% of my time with students on trying to improve their impact position. Now I got Akshay Bhatti up here for a reason. He's a left-hander like you, so you can probably relate to these views a little bit better than someone else from the other side of the golf ball. But in any event, let me get Akshay to the impact position here. Let me get him so we can see. All right, that looks a little bit better there. A couple things I want to show you about his impact that are really good. This kid's got a great golf swing, and he's going to be a world beater if he gets his putting figured out. In any event, look at his impact position here. Look how much his lower body is cleared. More importantly, look how much his upper body is cleared. And all this allows one thing to happen. His arms and hands and forearms go along for the ride. They're passive through impact. That's why he hits the ball well. He's got a one-way miss. I think he's a pull fader for the most part, but he works it both ways. But either way, he's very passive with the hands through impact, like probably 95% of these guys on TV. If I were to put a club shaft across his forearms right now at impact, they are probably right down the target line, or maybe in his case a touch to the right because he's a pull fader by nature. But it looks like this shot he actually might be hitting a draw because the golf ball's starting out this way instead of this way. In any event, point being is they're very passive through impact with the hands. They go along for the ride. All right, now let's get Nick Cicchini down to impact here. All right, there. Well, anyway, you can see, there we go, that's good. Now, when I see this from a student, I see a student who's relying on their arms and hands and forearms to manipulate the club at impact to hit good golf shots. And you can hit good golf shots that way. Don't get me wrong, you can, but it's not the most efficient way to do it, number one. Inconsistency will be part of the equation. More importantly, a two-way miss is almost guaranteed from week to week, month to month. It's hard to depend on a one-way miss when I see an impact position like this. Basically, you're relying on the hands and forearms to square up the club face. Now, the question is, why does that happen? That's happening for a reason, Nick, and I'm going to show you here in a second. Let's get Akshay back to the top here. There's a lot of cause and effect in golf. I mean, that's what it is. You got to find out the root cause of stuff to get a better effect. Now, Akshay does what I'm going to show you here better than almost everybody on tour, and he's really good at this. What I'm about to show you. Look at him at the top now. Let me get him up here. His trail hip is on this line as I put up there. You see this? All right, that's really good stuff. Let's get you at the top. Boom. Trail hip is on that line. That's good stuff. All right, now let's get Akshay back down to impact. Here's the difference. This is every guy on TV does this too, by the way. This is why they're on TV. His trail hip comes off the line because he's rotating his hips, and his lead hip gets into that line or blows through it like it's doing right here. All right? And this is important because this allows having this lead hip over here. This allows the arms and hands some room to operate in this area. All right? That allows him to come in very passive and quiet hands. Now look at him in impact. Look how far. I would venture to say right now, his hips post-impact are probably pointing out here in that direction. Now let's get Nick down here. Let's get yourself down here, Nick. Everything's good up this point, but here's where we become more dependent on hands and forearms than what we need to. Let me get you down in impact. Look what's happening now. Your hips as a whole are traveling this way, number one. They're trying to rotate around, obviously, but for the most part, they're traveling this way to the golf ball. And that's important to know, because this is the issue. They travel to the point where you crowd yourself to the golf ball, and you have one thing left to do to hit the ball in the face, is you got to extend a little bit this way with the upper body. You can see your spine angle is different than Akshay's over here. Akshay's really bent over at impact, and you don't have as much bend. Now, when you extend like this, we call this early extension. It's not a real bad case of it. Mine was a lot worse 3 years ago, mind you. But nonetheless, it really ruins a lot of opportunity to hit consistent shots. Number one is this. When your upper body has to extend up to accommodate the hips moving this way, you got to release the club early. Or you'd whiff it, one of the two, or shank it, one of the two. All right? Now let's get Akshay back here in kind of the similar position you're in. Where's his left lead arm is? I don't know, probably in this area. Right about there. I think your arms are in a very similar position right now. And you can see he's got a lot more lag. But he does stuff in his swing to encourage this lag. Okay, that's what you got to do. You just can't put lag in your golf swing. You got to do stuff to encourage lag. And right now in your swing, you do everything in your swing to discourage it. So, long story short, if we're going to continue to work, or if you want to work, we can definitely fix this. Like I said, I've been through this myself now for 3 years, and I've really changed my golf swing. I had no idea I was doing this either until I went to my friend, and we worked on this right here. And that's all we worked on, how to get this better. All right? And it takes a lot of reps, obviously, a lot of time, a lot of commitment. You got to be committed to this change. But it'll definitely make you a better golfer for sure. It'll make your bad days better. And one last thing is, I want to see you in person hit shots, because I'm not convinced these video angles are completely honest, so to speak. I think they're biased to a certain degree, and I want to make sure we're not doing this without a really good look at the angles. But in any event, we can help you with this. Long story short, thanks.